Hey, what's going on, dudes? My name is MrRhexx, and we are back with some more Elder Scrolls Skyrim. On the last episode, the last two episodes actually, we completed a side quest that ended up with us defeating a group of bandits. Bandits that made us, against our will, to crash the Ice Runner. Definitely was not against our will, we kind of helped them out, but we destroyed them and we took the loot for ourselves because apparently we're running a very evil Dragonborn, which is incredible. But what we're going to be doing this episode is actually continuing our Potema questline because we did what we needed to do. We basically needed to wait an entire level before we could proceed into the next chapter of this quest, and we did that. So all we have to do now is go here to Solitude and actually wait until we get the courier that's going to send us the letter.
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. A letter. Not sure who from. He wouldn't say, just that he was a friend of yours. It's from Falk Firebeard at the Blue Palace. Ooh, you've got friends in high places. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
There you go. And as you can see, we actually got two different letters. Let's check the first one. A person that he didn't have a title, a person. It says here, Captain Dread. You caused a bit of stir in Broken Ore Grotto. That's the place where we literally just went, did last episode. When you demonstrated the power of your Thuum. Not everyone is anxious for the return of the Dragonborn. I, for one, desire to see you grow and develop your talents. Skyrim needs a true hero these days. You should turn your attention to Bone-Strewn Crest. I understand it holds a mysterious source of power that can only be unlocked by the Dragonborn. Sincerely, a friend. So we don't know who this person is, but apparently there is a word of power that we can obtain, and we might actually do that later on. But the purpose of this video is, of course, this letter. It says here, Captain Dread, over the last few days we've had some disturbing information come to light regarding the events at Wolf's Skull Cave and the summoning and binding ritual that you interrupted there. Given your involvement with that event, I'm asking you to return to Solitude to help us once more. I'm wary of putting all the details in print. Please come see me at the Blue Palace. Sincerely, Falk Firebeard. So it's interesting that he actually do not want to say, you can tell he does not want to write in that Potema has come back, and you will see later that the people in the palace are actually very afraid of letting the general populace know of the possible return of this this necromancer. People know her name, and she was pretty wild back in the day, and we're gonna talk about that in just a little bit. But first, let's go ahead and actually get the quest from Firebeard. Let's see what he has to say about this.
The courier must have found you.
Yes, she did. So you sent a message about Wolf's Skull Cave.
Yes, old friend. I'm afraid it's not good news.
Oh no.
When you broke up the binding, Potema escaped. We've encountered some of her minions. Styrr says she's still in spirit form, or we'd all be dead already. You've already done us a service in stopping the binding, but I need you to go talk to him, to see if Styrr can tell us what to do next.
Who is this guy?
He's Solitude's priest of Arkay. He's the one who figured out Potema was still around. He'll help as much as he can.
Okay, but why me?
I'm not really sure. Styrr thinks you have some sort of link to Potema. I trust his judgment on this. As a priest of Arkay, he's had to deal with necromancy before. Nothing as dangerous as Potema, though.
Alright, I'll talk to him.
I wish you well, friend. Be careful.
I have so very many ways to do.
So, a couple of notes there, important notes. So, he said that he chose us for this quest because we have some form of connection with Potema. Now, you might be inclined to believe that it is our dragon blood, the fact that we're dragonborn, because, of course, she's Potema Septim. She's a part of the Septim bloodline. So there might be something there, you know, with Akatosh and all that stuff. But no, the reality of it is actually a little bit more mundane than that. But I'm sure that the guy is going to tell us exactly why we have that connection. More importantly, let me go ahead and just select the quest. he is a priest of Arkay. We're going to be talking about Arkay as well first before we talk about Potema this episode, because, well, he's very interesting. There's a lot of discussion about his actual origins, but we'll cover that in just a bit. Let's see what he has to say.
You must be the one Falk spoke so highly of. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you. Let's just ask him a couple of questions first. How long have you tended the Halls of the Dead?
All my life. I practically grew up in the hall. My father and mother were the priest and priestess of Arkay before me, you see. I believe I was put here to protect this place from the darkness that pervades solitude.
So what darkness are you talking about?
This city has a long history of madness and murder. The Wolf Queen, Pelagius, the death of High King Torek, and now, public executions. My books tell the stories, have no doubt. As pretty as its streets are, as jovial as the bards may be, darkness is drawn to solitude.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has been happening, and, you know, once again, people think that Potema dropped a curse in this place once she died. We'll see about that. Now, Falk sent me to talk to you about Potema.
Ah, Potema, former Queen of Solitude, and one of the most dangerous necromancers in recorded history. She was responsible for the Empire's near collapse almost 500 years ago. I believe I have a book about her.
Yeah, enough about your books. He's just been promoting it this entire time. And now Potema has returned?
Summoned in spirit form is not raised from the dead. She'll need help before she can return to the living. For the moment, the Wolf Queen has retreated to a place filled with dead, eager to serve her. She has gone to her old catacombs. A few days ago, one of her servants busted through a wall into the Temple of Divines. We'll need you to go into the catacombs themselves.
It's interesting that she's in spirit form, and Falk Firebeard mentioned very specifically that if she was indeed resurrected, that we would all be dead at this point. You know, that just kind of goes to show the power of Potema. Do keep in mind, Potema actually fought against the entirety of the Empire by herself for 10 years. Like, that's when you really think about it, that's actually insane. For 10 years, she alone fought against the Empire, just using her necromantic powers, her ability to basically go into contracts with Daedras, like all that stuff. She is ferocious. But why would you want me to do this alone?
Yes, I had Falk call you back because you were at the summoning. You have a connection to Potema now. You must deal with her. I can provide you with help for her minions, though. This should help you deal with the catacombs themselves.
So yeah.
As to Potema herself, find what's left of her body, likely a skeleton. Remove it from the catacombs and bring it back to be sanctified by Arkay.
Interestingly, you know, once again, it's not because of our dragon blood that we have some, in quotes, connection with Potema. Really is just because we were there when she was in spirit form. I don't really know what that connection might be and why it is important, but regardless, we are here to accept this quest. Now, anything I need to know about this woman?
A curious figure. Unrepentantly evil and nasty, of course, but also astonishingly brilliant. And obviously quite a necromancer at her end. She was always so close to being Empress, but despite her machinations, it was never to be hers. Ironically, if she were alive today, she'd be the only living member of the Septim bloodline. By all rights, she would now be Empress.
There you go.
May Arkay bless you with a long life.
Thank you. So the idea here is to snatch the bones of Potema so that we can bring those bones over to a shrine of Arkay, because when you actually go through the process of blessing a corpse through Arkay, essentially, you prevent that body from being resurrected by an undead. By a necromancer into an undead. So if we can do that to Potema's body, we probably would prevent her from ever coming back to life, which is something that she's probably right now trying to accomplish as we speak.
Blessings of the eight divines upon you. How may I help?
Blessings. Now, I'm going to be trying to move a little bit quick here because there's actually a lot to cover. You'll notice that We have all of the divines here except Talos, who is conspicuously just missing. But we're going to be talking about Arkay. Let's go ahead and get his blessing while we go through this quest. Now, before we do that, because I do want to talk about Arkay, I've been leveling throughout these past episodes, but I haven't actually spent my perks. And this dungeon is going to be very, very difficult. We're going to be fighting not just a lot of different vampires, but we're going to be fighting some Dreath, like overlords, Draugr overlords, I'm sorry, or Death Lords, I'm not sure which, but they're really difficult, and those are the guys that will two-shot me, basically, just 2 hits. One single hit, I think, takes like 80% of my HP, so we're gonna be having some issues. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to just maximize my one-handed damage and get some crit value here. If you can get down there, that would be... I cannot get to the blades, man. I'm trying so hard. It is. Alright, awesome. We got attacks with swords have a 15% chance of doing more critical damage. So that's just anything, man. Anything that I can get to get that extra damage. And lastly, we're gonna go here into shouts, and we're gonna get marked for death. Also one of my favorite spells. I told you guys before that I was gonna try and use Elemental Fury, but for the moment I just need any form of power that I can, man. Anything that I can get, we're gonna try and get. Now, as you can see, not here, actually. As you can see, the wall has been broken by one of Potema's lieutenants / minions attempting to sort of get into her. So a lot of undeads, whether it would be old vampires that have been living in here for over 500 years, or just straight up like undeads, necromancers and such, are trying to get back to Potema in order to basically align themselves to her, which is interesting. Now let's talk a little bit about Arkay. Arkay is known as the god of burials, but specifically the god of life and death. Essentially the god that you would pray to if you want to have a beneficial, a successful birth, like if your wife or you know, or any person essentially is trying to give birth, you would pray to Arkay on her behalf so that the birth can be successful. Or a person that you're trying to bury that has fallen dead, you basically would pray to Arkay in order to make sure that the soul kind of moves safely to the afterlife.
You've arrived at last. The hero who prevented me from being bound returns to my fold. I have much to thank you for, little one. When you die, I will raise you, and you can take your place by my side.
Yikes.
You'll serve me soon enough.
I really like this dungeon because it's kind of unique, which is it's pretty cool. But the thing about Arkay, what makes him so interesting, and you can see that we're like the Solitude catacombs, old, forgotten, sort of like crevices of darkness beneath the this beautiful city. The thing about Arkay is that we do not really know if he was always a... Oh, that scared the hells out of me, dude. I'm trying to go slowly and kind of immerse like. We don't know if Arkay was always a god, like originally a god, or if he was turned into a god. Because, thing is, there's a couple of different books that have different takes on Arkay, and the whole situation, the whole reason why we don't really know, really comes all the way back to one original book, in fact, one of the first books ever made by Bethesda for the world of Elder Scrolls. I cannot really fight her because MrRhexx is on the way. But there was this book made originally for Elder Scrolls Daggerfall, a book that is actually the only book that has ever been made for specifically for Arkay. Which, oh my god, I just got wrecked, dudes. The thing about Arkay is that he's not a big god, right? Like, nobody really talks about Arkay as much. When you hear talk about Arkay as an entity, typically is this secondary character that people just kind of mention, like, oh, he's the god of burials and deaths. Nobody really pays too much attention to this guy. So we actually have this one book, this one singular book in Elder Scrolls Daggerfall that was made explicitly just for him. The book is literally called Arkay the God, and in this book, it actually says that Arkay used to be a normal mortal, just a normal person. I don't remember what it says, if it was like a baker or some kind of like, has like a farm or something. Like, he literally was just like a tradesman, just like this common person. Nothing particularly special about this guy. But what he had was this really deep sort of like love for knowledge. He wanted to find the truth about life and death and the cosmos, and he just generally wanted to figure out what was up with reality. I'm trying not to consume too many healing potions, so I'm trying to be as... Oh my god. Trying to conserve them as much as I can because I don't really have a lot, and this is going to be a hard dungeon, so... Alright, we did it. Did it, boys. He was just a general dude, just like a normal dude, and he was obsessed with trying to find the truth of reality. And eventually, he finds this book that starts giving him that. It's a book that... sort of answered a lot of his questions, but it was a very complicated book, and he needed a lot of time to understand it. So much time, in fact, that he just dedicated his entire life to understanding this one particular book. So what ended up happening was he stopped paying attention to his shop. He stopped paying attention to his wife, to his sons, to the point where he sort of just got sickly, essentially, just after studying for so long. And in his deathbed, he prayed to Mara, saying, "Hey Mara, I want you to please just give me more time on this mortal realm so that I can learn more about the realities of births and deaths and the souls of people, because I want to teach people about this." I'll go ahead and do powers, spectral assassin, all the help that I can get, dudes. Anything that I can do. And then, of course, Mara asked him the question, all right, well, what do you think is the reason for births and deaths? Why do we do these things? Why is it so important? And Arkay said, well, it seems to me like the universe is so filled with souls. There are so many souls in the universe, in the Orbis, just out there in the galaxies, that and the space that we have here on the planet, on Nirn, is so small that we need births, we need deaths, we need souls to be allowed entrance into this marvelous place so that they can learn and progress, and basically so that they can have this experience and then have them move over so that new souls can go in, because like you can't fit all the souls in the universe in this plane, so you have to keep them moving. You have to have them come in and then leave eventually, right? And you know, Mara says, well, you know, there's some truth to that, but you're still missing some things. So what Mara offered young Arkay, because she couldn't give them immortality, she couldn't give him more time. It's not apparently legal even within the gods. What she actually granted him was the ability to become a god, just so that he could basically study this topic for as long as he could, and then he could teach people about this topic. Now that's what the book says. The problem with this book is that the book actually only appears in Elder Scrolls Daggerfall. The book was never remade, get wrecked, on any of the other games. And that leads people to believe that the book might have been one of those early development things within Bethesda that they kind of wanted to get rid of, right? That they don't really care for that particular lore, and they want to basically eliminate it because they haven't remade the book in any of the other Elder Scrolls games. Now the problem with that is that we have another book called The Varieties of Faith in the Empire, and this book is in Skyrim, and in that book it very specifically says, I might be able to like get it here, varieties, is that how you spell it? Varieties of Faith in the Empire player, place at me, 0402 8276. Let's go ahead and see if we can actually find it. We're looking for Arkay in here. Arkay. We have to go deeper. Arkay. God of the cycle of life and death. Member of the 9 Divines Pantheon. And popular elsewhere as well. Arkay is often more important in those cultures where his father Akatosh is either less related to time or where his time aspects are difficult to comprehend by the layman. He is the god of burials and funeral rites, and is sometimes associated with the seasons. His priests are staunch opponents of necromancy and all forms of the undead, which is of course why we're here in the first place. It is said that Arkay did not exist before the world was created by the gods under Lorcan's supervision / urging / trickery. Therefore, he is considered, he's sometimes called the mortal's god. So it says here very explicitly, it is said that Arkay did not exist before the world was created. So it sort of gives you this assumption that he was a mortal, he was just a normal person here in this planet, and then he was made into a god. The problem with this is that it directly conflicts with one of the most important books in all of Elder Scrolls. When you think about everything that we know about the reality of the world of Elder Scrolls, when you think about, you know, who is Larkin, like who is Potema and Anu, and how was the world created, and was Lorcan dead? What happened to Lorcan's heart? Oh, it was thrown into the into the sea and turned into the Red Mountain. Like all this stuff literally comes from this book called the Monomyth. The Monomyth is sort of like the Bible of the Elder Scrolls world, and it's like basically, like I said, one of the most important books in the entirety of this universe. And in that book, I can probably get a Monomyth spelled like this: player 2 0 0 0 1 B26E. Can go ahead and get it. I'm not gonna be able to find it. I don't even know why I'm summoning this book. Because this book is huge. Give me like a second here. I'm looking for Arkay. It's not gonna have, it's not like a paragraph, basically. It's like it's stuck somewhere in here. There it is. So it says here, when Akatosh forms, time begins. I'm on the first page. And it becomes easier for some spirits to realize themselves as beings with a past and a future. The strongest of the recognizable spirits crystallize. And it very specifically says Mephala, Arkay, Ifri, Magnus, Rupta. You might recognize Rupta as one of the Redguard gods that we don't really talk about much, etc., etc. So it's interesting because we're talking about the time before the world was created, right? Before the world was created. And it says very specifically the strongest of the spirits that formed were Mephala, Arkay, Ifri, Magnus, Rupta, etc., etc. So it very specifically says that Arkay actually existed before the world was created. So as you can see, we got some inconsistencies when it comes to... Whoop! I'm quick saving a lot because, you know, we're going to be fighting some pretty hardcore kind of people in here. Oh, you can tell that they're using... I believe this is supposed to be... Mara? Oh, I don't remember anymore who is it supposed to be. They actually put in a lot of these, like, wolf dragon priests. They're not dragon priests, but they're supposed to be, like, old Nordic, sort of totemic gods, or rather, representation of the gods. And they're using what I think is Mara, that I could be wrong. I'll see if I can type it in, like, on the description or something of the video. But they're using they actually put this in order to like represent the Potema, because he's supposed to be the wolf queen, and this is of course a totemic representation of the wolf. You can see a wolf there, and she's like has like wolf fur and all that stuff. But what's interesting is this is supposed to represent something else, like one of the other gods, not necessarily Potema. So I don't know why they would put it in here. It's kind of odd. We're going during now Potema's refuge. But yeah, so that's the thing about Arkay, that his origin is a great mystery. Now, the best way that I can kind of recognize this dichotomy and how to solve it is by saying that, well, the original book, Arkay the God, the book that very specifically says that Arkay was immortal, I believe that book was one of the original kind of like lores of Elder Scroll, and they basically don't want to use that anymore. Would be my guess, because they haven't actually used that book in any of the other games since Elder Scrolls Daggerfall. I would go so far as to say that they probably just want to get rid of that. That's not lore they want to use anymore. And the fact that it is sort of compounded in the book Varieties of Faith in the Empire is probably just the fact that that book is meant to signify, you know, faiths. Like, it's not... the book is not supposed to talk about truths. It's not supposed to talk about realities. It's really merely talking about faith, you know, what people believe. Whether it is true or not, it simply is what people believe in. And that's all that the book is trying to tell. And I think that's the only way that I can kind of like rationalize this in a way that, oh no, you have contracted Sanguinario Vampiris. We gotta get rid of that because we don't really want it. But yeah, that's the only way that I can rationalize this form of discrepancy, because I would be hard pressed saying that the Monomyth as a book is wrong. Because if the Monomyth as a book is wrong, boy, are we screwed. The amount of headache that would create. Because the Monomyth basically talks about the whole of reality. Like, if that is not true, if there's inconsistencies and wrongs in that book, God save us all. Truly. Now, what's even crazier about Arkay is that there is another book that talks about another option. Yet another sort of origin myth about Arkay. Though this book, the thing about this book, the book is called Tuwaka, Arkay, and Xarxes. And the problem with this book is that the book talks about Arkay essentially probably being, like, it sort of mentions the possibility that Arkay is actually a combination of two gods, of Xarxes and Arkay. Now, Xarxes is the god of secret knowledge and ancestry of the Aldmeri pantheon. And Arkay, I mean, we talked about Arkay before when we talked about Malakath. He's supposed to be Malakath, essentially, but Arkay is sort of like the name that was given to Malakath by the ancient Nords. Now, this place, let's see if we can... Ow. This is like my nemesis, dude. Oh my god. So close. I was so close. And yeah, no, the book sort of suggests that Arkay is like a combination of these two entities, which just kind of doesn't make any sense, really. Oh my god. My inability to survive these things is what really doesn't make any sense. Alright, we got him. God. Now, the thing about that book is that it doesn't appear in any of the games. The book is actually exclusive to Elder Scrolls Online, so... You know, it's one of those things. I like to think of them as canon, of course, but the fact that it's you know, it kind of compounds on the questions of Arkay just makes it all the more annoying. This room, you know, talks about annoying. This room is really annoying.
No doubt you see the Potema sanctum.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Now, he's not a problem. The problem here is the Draugr Deathlord. This guy is a real problem. So let's go ahead and summon this guy. We're gonna use Oak Flesh. Ow. We're going to use our shout marked for death if we can. Kree! We empowered our weapon Dawnbreaker. We gave it more soul energy. So now what I want to do is oh, we can cure disease. Yeah. We don't have that Sanguinario Vampiris anymore, which is good. When I use this, we're going to I don't think we need to resist magic. All I want is some magicka. Yeah. So that I can use my bound sword. We can challenge this guy. Now, whoo! I just need to not get hit, please. Ah. Look at this. Look at all the damage that we do not do. That is insanity. And now I don't have my sword anymore. Habib. Alright, let's go ahead and equip this. Dawnbreaker. Let's go ahead and put our bound sword back. Your Atronach is not doing too good. I mean, we're not... This is kind of behaving weird. I don't know if my game is glitched or something. Oh, did I scare him with my Dawnbreaker? That's probably what happened, huh? I think he's turned. This might be good, because we don't have to fight him. We could just, like... Let's just get the hell out of here, dudes. Let's actually get the hell out of here. The game does seem a little bit... Oh, no, he's actually really weak. Oh. Yeah, let's just go ahead and kill him. Yeah. See, that's the power... That's the power of Marked for Death. Marked for Death is fan-freaking-tastic. We gotta get more of that. he has the key. I thought I looted it. Oh no, it's the vampire that has the key. I remember. Garnet, gold, sanctum key, and we don't need anything else. Nice. All right, so yeah, Arkay is just kind of like a little bit of a mystery. I like that actually, that we don't really know exactly. He probably, so like I said before, my rationale, it's just that he probably was always a god, and everything else is just kind of like different faiths, you know, like it's just what people believe. I would imagine that people like to believe that it is possible for a human or, you know, a mortal to become a god, right? So they like to believe that Arkay is the mortal's god because it gives them the possibility that, hey, maybe if I'm good enough, maybe if I accomplish some greater deed, maybe I will become a god, right? So if Arkay did it, if Talos did it, then maybe I can do it, right? So it makes sense for people to want to do that. I think it makes sense. But it's probably time for us to talk a little bit about Potema. Potema Septim. So Potema, what's that? It's me. Let's go ahead and kill this one. Let's look at the power. I should have probably cured. Oh my god. Okay, well, that backfired a little bit. Let's see if we can funnel them over here. Something is hitting me. Not sure what it is. I should have waited until the very end of this dungeon before curing my... What the fuck? What is happening? Seriously! This game is like bugged out, I think. Something is happening. I don't know what it is. Oh my god. I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening. Maybe I just didn't see what was hitting me, but I could swear that I was getting hit by some invisible force. Alright, let's see if we can kill this person now. Well, we can. I don't want to mess around with this one. That's right. That is right. We're gonna talk about vampires later on once we do Dawn Guards. I don't really want to, even though we're dealing with them right now, I don't really want to talk about them because there's a lot. Boy, is there a lot to talk about these guys. But yeah, Potema, it's funny, when Potema was a baby, so her uncle was actually the emperor at the time. She was born in the Imperial City back in Cyrodiil, and her dream was to always was to be an empress. Like, that's all that Potema ever wanted to do, and she was always very, very close. So she essentially, I believe her uncle was the emperor at the time when she was born, and since she was a baby, you know, the stories basically say that she was kind of evilish. Like, from the very beginning, when the Emperor held her in his hands when she was a baby, he was like, oh boy, this girl, there's something about her. She looks like she's ready to pounce and kill me. Like, it was funny how that even the Emperor back then kind of sensed that something was odd with this woman. Boy, oh boy.
Not much further. Come with me. Serve me in death.
No. Gotta wait for them to resurrect before we can kill them. Let's focus on the vampire. There you go. Easy peasy, dude. I should have focused on the light. And then, as she was growing up, this Potema woman, she started to basically like blackmail people. She would steal, you know, information or coerce information out of other dignitaries from the Imperial City, and then blackmail those who would oppose her. And even as a child, like, she was literally like 13, 14, and she was doing all these things, which is pretty insane. Eventually, she was sent to marry this Jarl of Solitude, which is why she lived her entire life in solitude, in a city of solitude. Now, she, eventually her brother became the emperor, and she sort of did her best to foment discourse in the empire, saying that he was a bastard child and that she was the one who should rule and all that. That didn't really gather much success. What ended up happening, though, was that her brother ended up dying, and then his daughter became the empress, and that's when she just snapped. She was like, no, she is a bastard child for realsies now, which was also false. But when the people of the Empire said, okay, look, man, she's not a bastard child, she's gonna be your empress. By the way, she was like 13 years old, 14 years old at this point, right? This new empress. Potema at this point was old. New empress was like 14 years old. Her dad had just died. She became the empress of the empire. And Potema was like, you are a bastard child. Everyone said no. And then Potema was like, I'm gonna fight. And basically that was the beginning of what is known as the Civil War, the War of the Red Diamond. So the idea was that she wanted to make her son, Potema's son, she wanted to make him the emperor, because he was sort of like the next in line, essentially. If something were to happen to this Kythera, to this empress, this young empress, then Potema's son would become the emperor. So she started this war, and I believe she had like Morrowind on her side, and then the Empire had High Rock on their side, and it became this massive civil war. And it ended up, it's kind of a little bit fucked up, because Potema ended up capturing this young girl, the Empress, this 15-year-old Empress, and kept her in prison for years, and then ended up executing her, like this child. She was a child. And her Empress, the rightful Empress, and Potema ended up killing the child, which was kind of messed up, which is why I always think that Potema is like one of the most evilest kind of people like in the story, at least as far as like Skyrim is concerned. But Potema's son, the would-be emperor, ended up getting killed as well. So when he was killed, basically the civil war just sort of ended. Like the emperor, the empire sort of named a new emperor, and the civil war sort of stopped. But Potema didn't want to stop, so that's when I say that Potema fought the empire for like 10 years using Daedras and skeletons and vampires. That's when this happened. She basically said, "Nah, I'm not stopping this war. If I'm gonna be empress, even if I have to kill everybody, right?" So that's when she started this 10-year war that eventually led to her death. And it was then when she decided that, you know what, screw the Empire, screw all of you, I'm going to curse Solitude. Essentially, when she died, she cursed Solitude. And that's where people say that that's where Pelagius the Mad sort of came from, because he was the next Jarl. He basically grew up with this castle, the Blue Palace, being cursed, and so he grew cursed. But what actually happened in reality was Potema was a very powerful mage. She actually had an Elder Scroll. She read an Elder Scroll, and the Elder Scroll showed her pictures of the future, and in that future she saw that Pelagius was going to become the new emperor of the Empire. So she approached this Pelagius when he was but a child and offered him this cursed, I believe it was a necklace, this cursed necklace, and like as a gift. So Pelagius wore the necklace for his entire life, and it was that necklace that actually cursed him and turned him into Pelagius the Mad, which, you know, caused all manners of chaos and murders. And, you know, we talked about Pelagius the Mad before. It was the guy basically that is in the Shoggorath quest line. So the story is actually very interesting.
You've come far, but can you stand against my inner council? Let's see.
Let's see. You can actually find a potion of resist shock. It gives you 40% shock resistance. You can actually find it right here. So it's extremely useful, because look at her. She's casting shock spells all around us. Now, what are we going to do here? I wanted to tell the story before we actually entered, because this is going to be pretty difficult. We're going to do that. We're going to use our oak flesh in here. Then we're gonna use a potion of magicka. Bound sword. Alright. Just wanna focus completely on this war, because it's pretty hard. Unrelenting force. I'm gonna use Mark for Death. And this guy, get banished. Having that ability to banish Atronax, dude, so good on my bound sword. So unbelievably good. Now we're gonna probably end up using all of our potions in here, but that's perfectly fine. What I actually want to do now is powers, adrenaline rush, give us that adrenaline increase so that we can deal with these monsters. Ooh, this is why you want that resist shock ability, dude. So useful.
Don't applaud yourself too soon, worm.
Damn, dude. Alright, we're doing good, boys. We're doing good. Now, what actually finishes this event, this quest, is the killing of the boss. As soon as you kill the boss, it's supposed to end, and that is the it's like an overlord, I believe. We're gonna fight the second overlord. So I want to go ahead and put my shout marked for death, so that we can deal with this guy. I don't want to get backstabbed by him either. I think that's the one. Okay. Alright. That's the guy. That's the guy. Draugr Deathlord. Kree! He can also disarm me, so let's resist magic. I don't think it's going to help at all, but I just want him to be distracted by my Atronach if I can do that. Okay. Okay. Summon. I don't want to get hit. Oh, if I get hit once, I might die. Oh my god. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, okay, okay. I'm doing so good. I'm pretty good. Boom. Yeah, we feared him. It's good. Very, very good. Just keep, we cannot see his HP for some reason. I think marked for death is just like bugging the hell out of this guy. I'm not sure what's going on, but if I can't, there it is. Beautiful. So that should end the quest line. Now, all we have to do is retrieve Potema's remains. You can see that this door, by the way, is unique. It has the symbol of Potema. I wish I could have shown it to you guys once it was closed, but that's fine. This one shouldn't be too difficult to defeat. And then we should be done. Oh no. The head. The remains. They went flying. We were supposed to find a skull. There it is. It's ridiculous. Alright, there you go, boys. We did it. We completed the quest, retrieved Potema's remains, and we're supposed to bring these remains back to Potema. Before we leave, though, I do want to show you something interesting. In this chest, you can find the Legend of the Crately House. It's interesting because that book is not random. It's supposed to always spawn there. And what makes it interesting is that the book is kind of it's kind of like a mystery novel, which I think is hilarious. It basically talks about, it's a story about a couple of thieves that try and steal money from this abandoned house. The house is abandoned because there was a very terrible murder that happened in that house. The entire family was murdered by some monster, some unexplained monster. And there are ghosts. Basically, the old family still lives around the place as ghosts, so it's haunted. And that's supposed to be the mystery of the ghosts and the mystery of why they got killed. And the book's it's literally like, it's like a well, I don't know if it's supposed to be fiction or whatever, but it's not supposed to be like a lore book. It's really just like a story. But it's just interesting that clearly Potema was like a big fan of this type of mystery novels, because you can find one of those books explicitly, you know, in her sanctum. And I don't know. I guess I find that interesting, or at least funny in some way. But all that we have left now for this episode, which is going pretty long. All we have left to do is just to return the remains and finish the quest. It's pretty successful, I gotta say. We ended up using all of our healing spells, I'm pretty sure, all of our healing items rather. So as you can see, it was good that I came in as prepared as I was.
You lost? You've returned. I'm hoping successfully.
Yep, I have the remains.
Excellent. These things do have a way of working out when people take action. I'll sanctify the remains. In case Falk doesn't make it clear, Solitude owes you a debt of gratitude.
Thank you, thank you. Then we'll go and complete the other part of this. And, oh, there are enemies nearby. Were we talking about vampires or something? What kind of enemies would I have in here? Yeah, there's like some stuff happening, dude. Maybe Potema. Maybe I didn't actually kill Potema. She's just finally ending all life in solitude. But anyways, we should get a really powerful shield. It's called Solitude's Shield. That's the reward for this quest line, and I honestly like it. It's one of my favorite shields when it comes to when I'm playing Sword and Board, when I'm playing Sword and Shield. It gives you, I think it's like 20% magic resist, which is pretty dope, and a bunch of block improvements.
Do you have business with the court?
I have taken care of Potema.
You've done a great thing today. It doesn't matter who you support in the war. Potema would have been a blight on the land for both sides. Without you, this would have been a disaster. I should have paid more heed to Varnius's warnings. I won't make that mistake again. Take this payment. The Jarl would thank you, but she very much wants to keep Potema's return quiet. Make no mistake, we consider you a protector of solitude.
Be quick. I have little patience for mundane concerns.
Jesus, girl. So as you can see, what we talked about before when we said, you know, why Falk Firebeard didn't want to write about Potema on the note that he sent to us was because clearly it seems like they want to keep it secret. They want to keep Potema's return or her possibility of returning secret from the public, which I think is kind of fun. And we got a shield. The Shield of Solitude, like I said before. It's only 15% magic resist. I believe this might actually increase depending on what level you are when you obtain the shield. I could be wrong there, but I think so. But anyways, there you go, boys and girls. Hope you all enjoyed the episode. It was pretty fun. Actually, I had a lot of fun this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like, a comment. Let me know what you think, and if you have any topics you might want me to cover, I would be more than happy to cover them based on your suggestions. We're basically on our way to the next Daedric Lord. We have to pick a Daedric Lord. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna pick. And also, before I forget, I also have to find another companion because Cicero was just a nightmare. He just made way too much noise and was just always talking about random nonsense, which just kept on like interrupting me when I was just talking about different topics. So like he just was a non-starter. But in any case, if you guys want to support the channel, and I would appreciate it tremendously if you guys do, please consider just donating like $1 on Patreon, just $1 a month. Something as low as that can make a tremendous difference in helping supporting the channel if a lot of you guys do. Currently, yeah, the Patreon is not doing too good. It's pretty low. So if you guys wanna help out, anything that you guys can do, it's greatly appreciated. That would be awesome. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye.